Have you ever been reading your Bible and come across a phrase that you're not sure what it means exactly or why it's even there, or maybe what you think it means does not sound like what it ought to mean, and so you just don't really know how to interpret that? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about one of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So what is meek? When I think of meek, I always think of meek and mild together. Meek and mild. I'm not sure where meek and mild comes from. Maybe it's in the Bible. I don't know. But that's how I picture it. Meek and mild. And so I picture meek as being a bit of a mousy, like weak, like gentle and humble, but almost sort of standoffish. Maybe a doormat, maybe just like uncertain, insecure. But that is not meek at all. Yes, meek is gentle. Meek is humble. We are definitely called to have a gentle spirit and to be humble. That is part of meekness. But meekness is so much more than that. Back during the time of Jesus, the Romans were doing something called meeking a horse. They would meek up their horses. And the original word for meek is praus, Praus. No idea how to pronounce it. But this term was also used when taming horses. And what they were specifically doing were taking wild, out of control horses that just did whatever they wanted to do, and they would train them and build a relationship with them. And these horses would become war horses who listened to their master, only their master, and they would go and do what the master said. And even think about it, when you're going into a war, things might be a little dangerous, or you might want to not do that, but you do it anyway because the master is saying to do it. These horses, they could throw their master off their backs and take off running. I'm gonna swear a little right here, if they wanted to, but they don't, because they've been meeked. They listen to their master and they do what's set before them. They have power, but they use restraint. They are strong under control. Okay? Now, one of the ways that I think of meek is that they choose righteousness over revenge or rebellion. They choose to do what is right in the eyes of God over what might be their fleshly reaction, first gut reaction, first, impulse. They instead listen to what is God telling them to do. Or what does the Bible? It doesn't mean God doesn't necessarily speak to you when you're in these difficult situations. But if you know Him, if you've read His Word, then you know the right thing that you should do. And one of the examples of this is when David is being hunted by King Saul, because King Saul is jealous of David, because David is seen as a mightier man, I guess, is how you would describe it, than King Saul, because he had slain the giant and he was just very popular. And so he's hunting him down to kill him. Well, they in the whole process, they come to actually the same little area. And the same cave, I guess back then people went into this cave to use the bathroom. And so David was already in there. And he was hiding, or he was where King Saul couldn't see him. And King Saul comes in to use the bathroom. And, King Saul was in a pretty vulnerable situation. And you could think, well, God is just handing him over to me. Maybe this is David's perfect opportunity to overtake and kill this man who's trying to kill him. But that wasn't what God was wanting him to do. He showed restraint. Instead of revenge or that fleshly impulse, he chose righteousness over that. And what he did was he cut a little piece of his robe to show, I was right there with you. I had the opportunity, but I didn't take it. And that was his way of showing his loyalty, his righteousness, that he could have done this, but he didn't. And he actually not worshipped, but respected King Saul and showed him this is the kind of person he is, and that he was not trying to do anything negative to King Saul. King Saul didn't have a reason to come after him. And so sometimes, when somebody's coming after us, we may not react the way that we should. And we may react by going after them. Oh, well, blah, 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 And so it's just, that's not Meek. Meek is one of those situations where if people talk bad about you, you just let them and you don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. You know that God knows the truth, and he'll work that out in his time, in his way, and that's not for us to worry about. We can go to that person and say, hey, can we talk about this? But it's not our job to kind of fight back. We're going to choose righteousness. We're going to choose what's right in the eyes of the Lord, what he says we should do and how he says we should handle this situation, and not what we feel like would make us feel better, because that's not what Meek is about. It's about being humble. It's about being gentle. And it's about being strong under control. And that also always means we've got one ear to God. Well, really, both ears to God. But I don't know why I'm staring right there, y'all. I've been staring in the wrong spot. I think there's something. What is it? There's something on my wall over here somewhere. And I can't figure out which side. Okay. It's like, oh, this. I keep seeing this, y'all. Okay. By the way, if you didn't know, I have ADHD. And I'm going to move that now so I stop staring at it. Anywho, there is so much more to being meek, and I just wanted to share that with you today. And I hope you got something out of it. And so next time you feel like being meek is being weak or a doormat, please don't look at it that way. Think about the strength that it takes to be meek. I love you guys. See you soon. Bye, y'all.